The last time I looked at the figures for worldwide for depressions and the people who were struggling with mental health, and the number came in at 300 million people. That is people who obviously have been to the doctor, obviously diagnosed as depressed, um, stressed, anxious, whatever that is, and are on medications. Now, these are just people who are just suffering with that every single day. Take away the virus, take away all the lockdowns, but these are people in just real life who massively struggle to find some sort of purpose or some sort of way forward, if you will. Now, if we're adding the virus to this and we're adding all the people who actually believe in that we're all going to die, it's escalating, the cases are rising, it's going to get us all sooner or later. If you add those people into it as well, then these numbers are just going absolutely crazy. And then on top of that, you add the other people into that who've lost their job and who've on short time or are on furlough or on 80% of their wages, then you're just ending up with an absolute mess of people who are just struggling to cope with the whole thing. And if the government was really that interested in this, if the government was actually thinking, well, we're trying to save lives here, then surely to God, somebody would have the common sense to think, okay, let's try and think how we can save lives and how we can make this better. Now, it doesn't take a genius, in my mind, to figure out that surely it would be better to keep the gyms open and shut the schools and the universities. Surely it doesn't take a genius to think, well, okay, all the little maybe meetings or the little sort of groups that people are involved in, then there's a lot of well women groups and there's a lot like chess groups and there's a lot of like little meetups that people have. Surely they should be allowed to keep open, because again, it's getting somebody out the house, it's giving them a bit of a purpose, it's something that these people look forward to. Surely that would make sense that these people's well-being, if you will, it needs to be looked after. And also, we're going into winter, as everybody knows, here in the UK, and it gets absolutely freezing. And one of the biggest killers for the elderly is the heating. They don't come from a time of using the credit cards and just racking it on that and paying it later. They come from a time of more often than not saving and trying to look after the money and not going crazy and not spending too much. And for these sort of people, they don't like putting the heating on. They worry about the cost of this. They worry how much it's using for them. And a lot of the people on the pensions anyway haven't got any great amount of spare money. Some of them are very, very sort of struggling to get by as it is without any additional costs. So if we look at the whole thing logically, as I see it, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think, surely, if you're the government and we're trying to save these lives, then surely they should have sent out some payment to help these people to say, listen, we're going to give you all whatever, we'll send that out to people, and then at least you're not worrying on top of everything else about the heating or the cost of this. Now, is this happening? Absolutely not. And you can only take from this that there's a bigger plan here. And there doesn't seem to be saving any lives at all. It seems more like sort of escalating death rates to me. It seems more like escalating suicides and escalating like deaths of elderly people who can't afford to be putting the heating on. It seems like escalating with an 80% wage that is not working for many, many people. And it just seems to be escalating evictions and escalating the stress. I spend a lot of time trying to figure out the bigger plan here, or what on earth is it, where are they going with all this? Because none of this seems like that it's doing right by anybody. I mean, yeah, there is a lot of people who believe that, yeah, the lockdowns are a good thing and it's stopping the spread of it. But come on, I mean, seriously, it's got a 99.9% survival rate. There's nobody dropping dead in the streets. I've never seen a person drop dead in the streets. And some people might say, well, maybe you're living in the wrong town, and maybe I am, but I just don't see it like that. And for what it's worth, I mean, I've always been quite like psychic, if you will, and I feel things very, very deeply, and I have the ability, I guess, that a lot of people do, that you can look at something or look at someone and think, I really don't like that person, or that person's energy feels off, or something feels wrong about it all. And one of the comments in one of the other videos I put up the other day said, it feels proper dark and sinister. And it actually does. That's whoever did that, thank you very much, because it actually does feel dark and sinister. There's nothing about this feels to me like it's a good idea, or that it's helping people in any way, shape or form. And I try and work out where the heck we're going here, and what is this supposed to be doing. And like I said, the only reason I can come up with is, I honestly believe is following some plan. That's the only way I could sort of explain it, that I think he's following some sort of plan, and sort everybody else, and let's just crack on. And wherever this plan is leading us, it just seems like a very controlled destruction of everything that we've known, everybody's livelihoods, everybody's money. It just seems like a controlled demolition of everything, and it's done in a way that a lot of people who think we're saving lives and think this virus is spreading, it's done with the agreement of a lot of people who think this is somehow a good idea to be wrecking these lives, who somehow think that it's a good thing that we're in lockdown and somebody else's business is closed, to what maybe they've worked for a long while. And it does feel very, very dark and sinister. I can't explain it any other way than that, and I'm sure a lot of people just feel the same way, that we're led down a very, very dark path that I think would take a good 10-15 years to even see daylight from this, because I honestly don't see any good outcome from it, nor do we have jobs to replace the jobs that have gone. You know, it's all very well saying, well, the pub's shut, or the restaurant's shut, or then where are the factories, where are the innovation, where's the jobs that are replacing those for people to get back to work and get back being productive, or to pay the bills? A lot of the time it's just a slow destruction of people's homes and what they've worked for, and again, it's just a very, very going down a dark path with a lot of angry people, and the anger just seems to be again escalating into something where there's a lot of people just annoyed. And whether that means you're annoyed at somebody wearing a mask, where you think, well, how are you being so stupid, because everybody can see through this nonsense now, or there's the people who are all masked up, shielded up and gloved up, who believe that the others are trying to kill everybody and they're just not taking the precautions. And it's such a division and such a divide between everybody, and I just I don't know where we're going, but I so feel for people who are struggling mentally with all this, because this just really is a mess. If you're out there and it's getting hard, then please don't be afraid to reach out. I will always welcome any comments, and I have an email as well, I think, in the description, and I'm always happy to speak to people, because this isn't easy for anybody, and I sincerely wish you all the best. Thank you. Bye bye.